But we've been able to fill those spots this year, so we're looking good.
And I guess the other good thing with Flying Tigers coming into this year, at least I hope so, assuming all this coronavirus stuff goes away. I was talking to Oaks a while back. He sent me some pictures. Looks like Loveland High School's in great shape to be a home field for you guys.
Oh, yeah. We were out there a couple weeks ago. We had a little workout using their facility. And, man, it is a big change from where it was, the last couple of years. Of course, everybody know that towards the end of the season, we had to find a new venue and cancel some games because the field just was not playable.
Right.
Oaks came in over the winter, and they put a lot of money into it. It looks phenomenal right now. But we'll see how it is, if they get their baseball season in. If they don't, it's going to stay immaculate, but we'll see how much wear and tear if they have to go back and start playing again. But, I'm really confident this year that we're not going to have any issues with Loveland at all. I talked to the head coach at great length a couple of weeks ago, and he's super excited about us using it and sharing the facility, so it's going to work out.
That's great.
Yeah, they did. They took out the dirt base pass, put down sod, so we don't have that issue anymore. Of course, with Oaks, if anybody's played on Oaks' field, he knows he takes care of those things and mows them, and they look great.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, it's going to be fun this year.
Yeah, I'll bring Ray in on this one. I don't know if you guys played the Flying Tigers out there last year, Ray, but you wouldn't believe it. I saw some pictures a while back. It's going to be one of the better fields in the league right off the bat.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see. I know we had a game, I think it was early on last year, that we played through some rain, and it was gave us a little bit of fit, so we were able to get it in. I mean, I didn't think it was all that bad. I mean, there were some spots and stuff like that could be worked on, but to be honest with you, the only thing I hate about that damn thing is they need to get a shuttle bus to bring us from the parking lot up there.
Long walk.
Yeah, and it's uphill, too. You got to walk uphill.
Yeah, it's all uphill. Both ways. But
I think on Sunday, though, it is nice to go downhill to your car.
At the end, that's it.
Yeah, just put the equipment on wheels and let it go.
Yeah, just get the bags with the 4 rollers and roll.
Outstanding.
Yeah, I've actually bought me a little red wagon to get all my stuff up to the field. So, the guys make fun of me about that, but it's a lot better than carrying it uphill.
Absolutely. And if you're a catcher and you're helping to run the team and need to bring all the gear, I definitely sympathize with you. It's always tough. You know what I do? I bring the cooler, and every time we play somewhere else, I'll bring a dolly with me and put everything on that and wheel it all in. It might look silly, but at least I'm not tired by the time I get there.
Yeah, I figure another 5 years, I'll probably need a golf cart or something like that.
Yeah, the Flying Tiger golf cart. You can put the logo on the side there.
Yeah, we'll make it the bullpen cart.
There you go. We're one of those giant RVs that the Hooks always bring to the game, something like that. Throw it in there. Cool. Well, Mark, we appreciate you joining us here on the preseason preview show, and glad you're running the team this year, and look forward to seeing you guys out on the field. Best of luck to you guys in 2020.
All right, guys. Best of luck to you guys, too. And, thanks for having me, and I'll come on anytime you want me to. And good luck with this virus, and stay safe.
Sounds good. Thanks, Mark.
Thanks, man. We'll see you, Mark. Right. Well, that wraps up the preseason episode 2 of the interviews with the coaches. And as we saw in the first episode, we got some teams moving around and getting some new players and exiting players, and of course we got one team that's kind of in the rebuilding stage, if you will. And that might kind of fall in with what our real Reds are doing here in Cincinnati, is kind of the rebuilding thing, aren't they?
Well, we're hoping the real Reds have finished the rebuild. This was the year they were supposed to compete, but we will see. But the Reds in the CABL now under new management, Kevin Mattingly running the show, but still have Joe Carn, Ed Macy, a couple of guys that have been there a while. But a lot of turnover. It's almost like a new team. I think there are only 4 or 5 guys, is what Mattingly was saying, that were there last year. So a lot of unknown. I mean, they could be a lot of guys that we just don't know. Could be really good. Who knows? No telling. That's definitely one of those where we really won't know until we start playing the games.
Exactly. So it's just going to put a new element out there when you go to face the Reds. No, it's not going to be the exact same team you faced over the last couple of years. So. You're
not going to be seeing Muse, Rank, Hill, and those guys. It's a whole different set of guys. Now, another team rebuilding was the Flying Tigers. They're dangerous when their guys show up, and we talked to Mark Reynolds about some of the guys he has. Timmerman, the young kid who they had playing shortstop last year, he's old enough to pitch this year.
So
that should make a huge difference for them.
Yeah, and that I think that's been the issue with the Flying Tigers, and from what we've talked to them about anyway, is just the stability of having the everyday guys coming out, and I think they're still trying to work through that and getting. I mean, they've got a core, but you still need a few more, and I think that's what they're looking for. And like you said, when they've got everybody there, they're a tough team to beat.
Well, I know they. You never breathe easy. They have some guys who can play. I wouldn't. Don't be fooled by the record from last year for sure. Exactly. Meridians, I think that's the one that's been impacted probably the most by Brett Miller moving on. That's 100 innings to replace. Now they do have Joe Mills still. Gave him 115 last year. Nate Carell only threw 52 last year. Nate, a guy who has thrown 100 in the past, perfectly capable of doing so. We talked with Justin Krause. He's saying, Wolterman will throw a few. But the problem is you bring Wolterman to the pitch a bit. That opens up shortstop a little bit. Austin Newman probably throws some more innings for him from what Justin was saying. It's just tough. You really hope that, Nate and Joe there can stay healthy, both give you 100 innings. Because, it was easy to fall back on Brett anytime you needed a guy to go 7. That guy had a rubber arm.
Yeah, that's a tough player to replace. Not only a guy who puts in that many innings and things like that, but for those of you who know Brett Miller and everything, a great guy nice to have in the dugout as well. And not just a rubber arm, but it's a pretty damn good rubber arm. So
right, he's not just filling innings there; they're quality innings for sure.
Exactly.
Attested to those 11 wins last year. One of the more interesting moves we heard about was when we talked to Andrew Caston and the Orioles picking up Brandon Heineman off the Dodgers. There's another guy, gives you a ton of innings, went 7-0 for the Dodgers last year, and I think the Orioles are hoping to plug him into that rotation. That only makes the Caston brothers better, kind of cuts back their workload a little bit, and it's always good to have another good arm in there.
Yeah, and Orioles, showed last year with making it through into the playoffs and played well in the playoffs. So adding that another person like that, to your team and being able to bring back the guys that you had, core, that's just going to make you that much stronger and be able to hopefully move them. Not farther than the Colts, but hopefully they'll move them farther along.
Move them on up. And, the Dragons kind of did a mid-season rebuild last year, brought some guys in mid-year and really started to play well at the end of the year. I think they're hoping to have those guys for the entire year. Will change some results for them. The Knights lost a couple guys, bringing in a few new ones. The Brew Crew, of course, bringing in Troy Breggy and Colton Catani potentially. We've heard his name bounced around with a couple different teams. We'll see how that all shakes down. And the Hooks, well, this isn't good news for the rest of us, Ray. The team is pretty much the same team. Now, they did lose, not to take away from it, Adam Kirkendall, the left-hander out there. He can come out of the bullpen and just throw gas, but doesn't throw a lot of innings. So, but it's always knowing that he's down there, you're like, oh, gosh, they bring him in. But he won't be on the team this year. But everybody else on that team is back, so that's not really great news for the rest of us.
Yeah, they're tough. They've been tough for the last few years, and they're going to continue with the same guys. But the nice thing about that is you know what you're getting, and you know what you got to do to plug in to try to beat that. And like Crafty said, the other teams are combining to beat us or whatever it takes, and hey, yeah. It is what it is. The other note I want to put on that is officially it sounded like the Brew Crew has moved from Natty Light to drinking White Claws now. So I don't know that that's accurate, but that's kind of what it sounded like. So,
well, you know what I always forget too, and I'm going to do this during the season. I know it. Is they prefer to be called the Brew Crew now, but they've been the Brewers for so long.
Yeah.
I know I'm going to butcher that, but I think we got it right for most of this episode, didn't we?
To be honest with you, I haven't heard Brewers mentioned at all. I don't think since we've started it up. So I think we've officially turned that page and been able to get that off our back and just calling it the Brew Crew.
We're going to have to confirm this Natty Light White Claw thing, though.
Yeah.
We'll see. Maybe that'll go to the Player of the Week if it's a Brew Crew guy.
That's it. To get the White Claws out.
I know. Well, that was another good preview. We still have one to go, if you can believe it or not. After all this content, still a little bit more to go.
Yeah, still got 5 more teams to cover, and so our next episode, in our last preseason, we will cover those 5 teams, and then that will wrap things up. And hopefully after that, we'll be able to do an episode that is going to be a schedule release, and be able to put out a schedule, and hopefully. We're not going to be pushed back too much or anything with our schedules. So let's all hope that the coronavirus goes away. Maybe that's what the Brew Crew's trying to do. We all go away from Coronas, drink White Claws, get rid of this virus. I don't know what it is.
Maybe that'll do it. Maybe.
Yeah.
It's got to be better than fish tank cleaner.
Yeah, I did read that. We'll have to touch base on that one later. Yeah. That's crazy.
Save that for another episode.
Yeah. So, well, that again, thanks a lot, guys, for listening. I know everybody's antsy getting out there to play ball, and Jason and I are too, as well as give us more stuff to talk about and things like that throughout the season. Again, thanks a lot for our sponsors there that we have right now. We are still looking for other ones, so please, if you have anybody, just reach out. But thank you to BP Bats and McFall Law Firm, and also for Hand in Hand Realty. So thanks again, guys. And with that one, Jason, take us out.
Sounds good. Thank you, Ray, for all you do and getting this together. Not an easy task. That's going to wrap it up for this week. You can follow us on Spreaker.com, find us on iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Google Play. Like us on Facebook and look us up on Twitter. And don't forget to check out the league's website. Many new improvements coming. www.cincy.com. Special thanks to our guest this week, Scott Compton from the Brewers, Ryan Roth from the Knights, Jeff Kraft from the Hooks, Mark Reynolds from the Flying Tigers, Kevin Mattingly from the Reds, Justin Krause from the Meridians, David Bach of the Dragons, and Andrew Caston of the Orioles. Our thanks to you guys. Couldn't do it without you. Next week, we'll talk with the Chiefs, Hustle, Suds, Mudcats, and the Expos to wrap it up. Hope you'll join us for that, for the next episode of the Two Cutoff Men. Until then, for Ray Sterling, I'm Jason Earhart saying thanks for listening.
Thank God for the fame.